we're going to talk about communication. And this really is probably the heart and soul of just about everything we do professionally as acupuncturists. I realize that we all tend to think of ourselves first and foremost as healers. We're here to help people. We've studied, we've spent years gaining these skills, gaining this knowledge and applying it so that we can help patients get better. And that's great. You can be the best healer in the world and have an empty practice and go out of business if you can't communicate that. Frankly, if people don't know what you can do or don't believe that you can do it, don't understand it, then you've already lost before you open your doors. So communication really is the key. And unfortunately, the bad news is that as acupuncturists, we all have some improving to do. Now, there's also some good news though, and that is that over the last decade or so, things have really started to improve. Let me give you some examples. When acupuncture schools first came to the US and when acupuncture first started being taught and so on, it was very much based on tradition, based on a sort of a zealotry that was almost religious, and used a vocabulary and a set of understandings and a whole paradigm that is completely foreign to the way Westerners think. So when somebody comes to you and has a problem and you take their pulse and you're feeling their pulse and telling them that they have liver qi stagnation, and they're going, you're taking my pulse, doesn't the pulse come from the heart, and you're telling me something about my liver, and then you're talking about my stomach? This is really weird. And oftentimes, too often in fact, we kind of double down on that by then trying to launch into some big explanation about TCM theory and about how various things affect various other things. And you've already lost the battle. No amount of explaining is going to get back what you lost the moment they thought you didn't know what you were talking about. You add to that perhaps an image that's been beat up in popular media, popular press a little bit, and sometimes that image isn't helped by our own image when people come to our practice and maybe we're a little out there and it's sandals and candles and woo-woo or whatever. The Western-minded patient, the people that have already Googled their situation before they walked in your door, they immediately have lost trust. And AcuGraph is the solution to that problem. AcuGraph can help you reframe everything you communicate. Notice I didn't say reframe everything you do, because there's no reason that you can't use all of that tremendous knowledge and tradition that's been handed down and cultivated to help people get better. But we can still communicate in terms that patients can accept, understand, embrace, appreciate, and ultimately value. So, in this module, we're going to talk about how to do that, how to use evidence to make that communication more possible. And I want to tell you, this really works. We have practitioners that are in integrative teams with medical doctors, with other professionals, and they rely on the evidence-based nature of AcuGraph to be able to communicate. And they find that when they communicate in those terms, based on the evidence, based on what changes, based on what is clearly visible, then not only are they listened to, they're respected, they're valued as a member of the team. And the same thing happens when you're dealing with your patients. When you can show them that you know what's wrong, that you know what to do about it, and that what you are doing is making a difference, and that it's visible, that it's objective, that it's identifiable, that you can demonstrate it, then you've completely changed the dynamic. It's gone from perhaps what is seen as traditional or even almost religious to something that is seen as scientific, reliable, repeatable, and evidence-based. And this is the paradigm that they expect. So the beauty of it all is that by communicating that way, you not only can attract more patients and have a more successful practice, you can do so while being true to the medicine and true to what you do, but simply learning to communicate in terms people can understand. It's a skill we all need to develop and we all need to do better at. Now, when I started, I said, yeah, there are signs of improvement, and there really are. Schools are keen to this now. They're understanding that we have to be able to integrate ourselves into the healthcare paradigm that so many people expect. They're teaching how to do that. That's wonderful. We're seeing that progress made, and AcuGraph is at the cutting edge. So you, as an AcuGraph practitioner, are going to be better equipped to attract patients, communicate with them, and retain them than just about any other acupuncture practitioner out there. It's really exciting. So let's delve into the nuts and bolts of how we're going to talk to our patients.